So normally when I start talking, I tend to open my sessions with AFR. So that's the accident frequency rate for traffic officers or our supply chain. So it feels a little bit strange to be talking about the KSI casualty number. So KSI is killed and seriously injured. Now, if you have a look at from 2007, I don't know if you know, but one of our KPIs at Highways England is to reduce that 2007 figure by 40% by 2020. So if you have a look at that graph, we were doing pretty well until around about 2013, and then, well, thinking about it, I think it's probably we came out of a recession. More and more vehicles were on the roads, and I think people were probably driving less conservatively, less worried about the cost of fuel. But either way, that figure is not going in the right direction. And I think it's worth noting, though, that 2016 is a little bit higher than we would normally expect because there was a different way of reporting the incidents. At Highways England, we're really concerned about this, so much so that we spend half our time at the Board Safety Committee and the Executive Safety Committee talking about road user safety. You know, it really isn't where it needs to be, but we've done lots and lots of work in this space. I'm sure you've seen the Red X adverts, or perhaps you've seen the adverts encouraging you to plan your journey properly. I'm particularly impressed with the work we've done so far. But the fact of the matter is, we need to do more. So we've been interrogating the data, and I was surprised to find that a third of all road traffic collisions involve someone driving for work. That's absolutely astounding, because after all, aren't these the people that know the roads, that drive all the time, the most experienced drivers? They're not the people that we expected to be having these collisions. And the collisions don't just affect the people that are involved in the actual accident. What about the 40,000 incidents that our traffic officers attended last year? You know, the ramifications for our staff, for our supply chain that go out and repair the carriageway after these incidents. But there's also problems created for the other road users. How do you think it would affect your driving if you've been sat in a traffic jam after one of these collisions and you're running late for one of your meetings? It just doesn't feel right to me, and that's why we're taking it so seriously at Highways England. It's also a reason why Driving for Better Business is a core element of Highways England's business outreach programme. Driving for Better Business was launched following a review by the Motorist Forum in 2005 that looked at occupational driving. And it found, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, occupational driving wasn't properly covered by traditional health and safety management systems or indeed road safety initiatives. It seemed to kind of fall in between the two. I previously worked at the HSE, and I can tell you that we never really looked at road traffic collisions. It was always seen as an RTA, not really part of the job. And I don't think it's had the focus that it needs, particularly when you think that a third of all collisions involve someone driving for work. In fact, many employers, or certainly around 2005, weren't aware of their obligations. I think it was 79% of employers said they didn't really consider driving at work as a hazard. That's just something that's kind of outside the employer's remit regarding health and safety. Let me be really clear, it's not. And at Highways England, we expect everybody that works with us and for us to be an ambassador for safe driving. And it's not just employers that really aren't aware of risks, it's employees too. And it was interesting because I went out for dinner with a couple of friends, and they all drive as part of their job. One's a paramedic, a couple of sales reps, a few sort of with really senior roles that drive all the time. And they couldn't believe it when I told them about this case. This case involves a lady, a sales rep. She does 60,000 miles a year, and she was driving along and decided she needed to charge her iPhone. So, just quickly put the cable in. Didn't realise that the vehicle in front had come to a stop and carried on driving at 50 miles per hour right into the back of them. Unfortunately, the driver of the car that she collided with died instantly, and the passenger, his wife, had life-changing injuries. Really, really sad. But this lady admitted death by dangerous driving and was jailed for 2 years, 3 months. My friends were astounded that that contributes or is considered to be dangerous driving. They thought that not being on the phone didn't really include plugging your phone in. It didn't really mean that you couldn't change your song on iTunes. They didn't really understand what safe driving looks like. And that's a really good question. Are you a safe driver? Do the people that work for you and with you know what safe driving looks like? There's a huge education piece, I feel, that we need to tap into here. It's becoming more and more important for you to look at this risk, not only the moral duty, as I said, it just doesn't feel right, the financial effects from it, the risk as well to our supply chain, to Highways England employees, but also clients are looking at this much more. I sit on the large infrastructure client group. It's as exciting as it sounds for health and safety. And we meet every couple of months. And I can tell you that driving at work is the top hazard now on their risk register. And I know that collectively there's a lot more work being done with HSE to look at enforcement in this space. So you need to get your house in order. It's the right thing to do, but also I'm sure in the future there'll be lots more focus. That was High Speed 2, Network Rail, National Grid, UK Power Networks, all signing up to focus in on occupational driving as the #1 risk. So we need to get ready. So we've talked about the moral reason, we've talked about the financial reason, but what about the reputational damage? This is an accident that happened outside our Manchester Highways England office in 2015. Now imagine if that was someone from the supply chain, because 2 hours later it was all over the local news, it was all over the national news. This would be really, really damning. So I say it and I'll keep saying it throughout this conference. Highways England expects everybody that works with us and for us to be an ambassador for safe driving. That doesn't just mean on site. That doesn't just mean the people on site. That means everyone, even if they're office-based. This is an opportunity to improve driver education, to improve driving standards across our industry. And let's be honest, why wouldn't we do this? This is the right thing to do. I personally don't feel that the KSI rate is where it should be, the KSI number. It just doesn't feel right to me. So lots of our supply chain are doing work in this area. And I know when I go out on site, the first thing people want to tell me is, well, we take driving at work really, really seriously. In fact, we ban hands-free. And my question there is, really? Because I hate to say, but I don't know how many conversations I have with people that say, I'm on hands-free, but I'm all right. There's no point having a rule which you can't enforce, and that goes for any health and safety standard or procedure that you may have. A rule which does not work, which you're not compliant with, will be used against you in enforcement, by the HSE. It doesn't cover you in any way, and there's no point. In fact, it just weakens your safety culture. So if you're going to have a rule like that, you need to make sure that you're auditing against it and that it's working. It needs to be enforceable, it needs to make sense, and people need to follow it. In terms of daily vehicle defect checking, I went out to a site a couple of months ago and I asked the driver of a vehicle, I said, can you talk me through your checks? And he said, yeah, I've done them all, love. And I said, put the lights on, let's check them. Lo and behold, they weren't working. But yet he completed his driver vehicle check and said, yeah, they're working. Are you checking these are done properly? Are you really checking, or is this just a paperwork exercise? To me, it doesn't feel to the standard that we need it to be. I think with a lot of plant, though, we're much better at it than we are on company cars. I know that in Highways England, we'll get hire cars. People will use their own cars, sometimes for shorter journeys. How many of us really check our vehicle before we set off? I don't feel those checks are getting properly done. I certainly don't think it's on the radar amongst our supply chain. Fatigue. You all know it's one of my favourite subjects, but we don't really understand, I don't believe, the people that work for us. Do they have a 2-hour commute before getting on site? So they're travelling 2 hours, then working in a high-risk environment, which presents problems. But then you've also got to think they've got a 2-hour drive back home. Are they fit to drive home? What do your expenses and travel policies look like? Do you encourage this type of behaviour where people are working for sort of 16, 18 hours a day? I know some organisations that say if you've got a vehicle, if you've got a company car, then you're not using the train. Does that really align with safe driving and the role that at HE, you should be, anyone that works with us and for us, an ambassador for safe driving? I don't feel that we would properly address grey fleets. So they're the people that use their own vehicles for travelling. You'd have no information on the service history of that vehicle, on the safety of that vehicle, the age of that vehicle, the maintenance and so forth. And I think it's pertinent to know, I'm sure a lot of us are staying overnight, maybe going to the supper, and I'm sure a couple of people will be having a few drinks. I know I certainly will. Will you be getting in the car the next morning to go somewhere else if you're not staying here for day 2? Have you got a meeting at 9 o'clock? You'll be getting in the car at 6 o'clock. Are you ready to drive? And it brings me on to drug and alcohol testing. We do it really well on site. I don't know many people that do it around the offices as well. And why wouldn't we do that? Does that not make sense as well? Because we should all be encouraged to drive more safely and to consider whether we're fit to drive when we start making our journeys. I know that some of our supply chain have done amazing work in this space and they're business champions. So we've got a couple up there, though I know there's others, people like Keir, I think have recently become a champion as well. But I wanted to just focus on Skanska, and they've got that one approach with the drugs and alcohol policy. It doesn't matter who you work for, what your employment chain is. If you work on a Skanska site, there will be, you may be tested for drugs and alcohol. And I really like that strong approach. The risk doesn't change just because your employment status changes. It's one rule on our site, and that's the type of a strong stance that I'd encourage the rest of our supply chain to be making. So just to finish, we expect all those that work with us and for us, I'll say it again and I won't tire of saying it, to be ambassadors for safe driving, and we expect our supply chain to be consistently compliant. I just covered a few areas on today's presentation where I feel there's areas for improvement. So I'd like you to look on the Driving for Better Business website, which Simon's going to go through, and complete the online gap analysis. Really fill that in properly, be honest, because I think there is a little bit of cherry picking with regards to our driving at work policies. Highways England expects all Tier 1 suppliers to become a Driving for Better Business champion by April 2019. Now that's a little way off. And the reason for that is you need about 12 months worth of data to use when you apply to become a business champion, and obviously there's the assessment. But it's a very reasonable time scale. So by April 2019, we expect all Tier 1 suppliers to become a Driving for Better Business champion. I would encourage you all to look at the requirements you place on Tier 2s and beyond, because there should be one standard for this, one standard, because it's the same risk regardless of employment chain.